Happy Taco Tuesday, CJ Curry here, back with another MLB player prop video. We were absolutely en fuego in yesterday's video, hitting on every single hitter player prop that we mentioned in the video. And if you're a Dub Club member, we were on fire there too. 14 out of 18 picks that I sent out to the community ended up hitting. So congratulations to everybody out there that tailed yesterday's video's picks or tailed the Dub Club picks. I actually ended up sending out a 25x slip, which I'll show you in just a moment. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. There's really no reason for you not to be subscribed. If you're betting on player props, this is the channel for you, the place that you want to be. Subscribe, turn on all the notifications by ringing that bell, and hit a like for me. Let's try to get at least 100 likes on today's video. Appreciate all the love and support as always. All right, we got to pick somebody from yesterday's comment section to win a free month of Dub Club. Now, as you might know, maybe you don't know, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you've liked the video, and you've commented your favorite player prop, and I randomly select that player prop, and it happens to be a winning player prop, well, then you can win yourself a free month of Dub Club, which is a $20 value. And this person right here, Rashad Thomas 6528, was liking Ketel Marte over 7.5 fantasy points. And it took extra innings, but my guy Ketel Marte ended up coming through late in that game against the Seattle Mariners, going over 7.5 fantasy points and getting our community a 25x win. So congratulations to Rashad Thomas. Just go to the description of today's video, click the free Discord link. Once you're inside Discord, DM me Rashad, and then I will DM you back with a Dub Club link to get you started on your free 30 days. All on me, totally gratis. That means free in Espanol. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys the 25x that we ended up cashing yesterday in Dub Club. It's this slip right here. We had Shohei Ohtani, which we talked about in yesterday's video, go over 1.5 total bases. Carlos Santana played out just like we hoped. He got walked one time. He had a hit. He even had a run, so that one was easy peasy. Vlad Guerrero under 0.5 hitter strikeouts, despite getting, like 5 at-bats, and I think that game might have went into extra innings as well. He stayed under, did not strike out. Ketel Marte, we just mentioned, went over 7.5 fantasy score in extra innings versus Seattle. I got to be honest, I went to bed thinking Ketel Marte after his 4th at-bat just wasn't going to get the job done. Some kind of magic happened while I was asleep in Arizona, and Seattle went into extra innings, and Marte came through clutch, helping us cash this slip. And then the other 2 player props have been a category that have had really good success in. I think we swept the board yesterday on pitches thrown. We had Chris Sale going over 97.5. He went over that pretty easily at 103. And then Emerson Hancock, who went against the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday, under 88.5 pitches thrown, finished with just 85 pitches thrown against a tough Arizona offense. So congratulations to all my peeps out there in Dub Club who took advantage, played this slip. I love helping you guys cash out. That is what I am here for on the YouTube channel, in the Dub Club, in the Discord. I'm just here to try to provide value, put you on more winning picks. So if you're interested in getting even more winning picks, I would suggest you slide on over to the Dub Club. There's going to be a link down in the comments section below. Right now, I'm running a limited time offer where you get your first month for only $5. That's a $15 off coupon code. Basically, you'll see the banner at the bottom of the Dub Club page once you click the link, so definitely jump in there. It's as little as 55 cents per day, super cheap. I'm sending out all the picks, plays, and parlays, helpful stats and information, and I've got some other people in there that are contributing to the community as well. They send out their favorite slips for apps like PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Better, etc. Okay, covering sports books as well. So if that's interesting to you, you want to be in a community of helpful, friendly, like-minded individuals, I've got that all built out for you. Just go down to the comment section below, click that link, and you'll save, like I said, $15 off of your first month. You get a taste and feel of what the community is all about for as little as $5 for 30 days of access. Okay, gang? Limited time offer, though. Make sure you take advantage while you can. All right. Enough of me yapping. We got to get into some picks today. We're going to try and repeat yesterday's success. It ain't going to be easy, but hopefully we eat on this lovely Taco Tuesday. Let's start with the first pick. Let me pull up my handy little list here. I'm going with Aaron Judge. And I'm going to take him over 9.5 hitter fantasy score. The reason I'm going with Aaron Judge today is the New York Yankees are projected to be one of the top offenses on today's MLB slate. If we go over here and look at the bats, offensive projections for different ball clubs, the hitters for the New York Yankees are in a pretty good position going up against little unknown Noah Cameron. They're projected for the 6th most fantasy points as a team against Noah Cameron. And of course, Aaron Judge is an absolute monster at the plate. And this will be the first time he faces Noah Cameron, who is a left-handed pitcher. But it's important to point out that Aaron Judge absolutely smacks lefties. He's got a 1.537 OPS this season against left-handed pitchers, which is a .422 batting average, .559 on base percentage, and a .978 slugging percentage. So anytime there's a lefty at the mound for Aaron Judge, I'm going to have to go ahead and take his over because he kills lefties. He's been doing it all season long. So let's take a look at some projections for Aaron Judge now that we know that on paper the matchup kind of looks good here. We're going to go over to RotoWire, one of my favorite tools. RotoWire still offering a 25% off discount for 6-month and 12-month memberships when you use code CJ Curry. I've left a link in the description of today's video if you're interested in trying it out. We've got Aaron Judge here for 9.5 fantasy score or 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. The reason I'm going fantasy score is because Judge is known to get walked, and walks are worth 2 fantasy points apiece. So if he gets walked, gets a hit, a run, an RBI, I mean, it can add up pretty quick here. The only thing I wish Judge had in his arsenal was that he was more of a base stealer. Not much of a base stealer. He's a pretty big guy, doesn't move too quick, but once in a while he can swipe a bag for you. But nonetheless, the projection for Aaron Judge today, 12.82 hitter fantasy score. So good projection on a line of just 9.5. That's more than 3.3 hitter fantasy score different. So I'm liking this projection here on RotoWire. But let's also check out the Bat X by Derek Carty, which is typically the most accurate projection model out there for MLB player props. So I definitely love referencing this particular model. So let's go Aaron Judge. And when we take a look at Aaron Judge and his fantasy score projection, I said it in yesterday's video, but I'll repeat it again today for those who may have missed it. If you're using a projection model projection system, make sure that you are using DraftKings projections for hitter fantasy score. Use FanDuel projections for pitcher fantasy score. All right? DraftKings for hitters, FanDuel projections for pitchers. Anyway, he's projected for 11.33 hitter fantasy score, almost 2 fantasy points higher than where he's at right now on PrizePicks at 9.5. So let's hope Aaron Judge has more success against a really green, we'll call him, left-handed pitcher in Noah Cameron. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, I'm going with Kyle Tucker, King Tuck, who is at 8 hitter fantasy score. Now, he was at 7.5 hitter fantasy score. In all transparency and honesty, they bumped him up by 0.5 while I was preparing to put together today's video. But I'm going to still roll the dice here with Kyle Tucker to go over 8 hitter fantasy score. Hopefully that differential of that 0.5 from 7.5 to 8 doesn't come back to haunt us. But Kyle Tucker in a good matchup today. Chicago Cubs, in terms of a team projection, they're projected for 41.55 fantasy points as a team. They'll be facing off against, again, relatively newcomer Mick Abel, somebody who's, not someone we're really shying away from in terms of a pitching prospect or anything like that. Cubs are in a really good position, second highest projected offense on today's slate. Let's take a closer look at Kyle Tucker's numbers. This will be the first time that he faces Mick Abel, 0 at-bats versus him. Now, he is a right-handed pitcher. Kyle Tucker does pretty well against lefties and righties. A little bit better versus lefties than righties, but still some pretty solid numbers against right-handed pitching. .883 OPS, .265 batting average, .389 on-base percentage, and a .494 slugging percentage. He does have more home runs against righties this season than he does against lefties. 8 homers against righties versus just 5 homers against lefties. A lot more RBIs, a lot more stolen bases, which is something he does once in a blue moon. But yeah, numbers for Kyle Tucker against righties aren't too shabby here. So I'm willing to roll the dice and take a chance with the Cubs being in such a good position today overall. So let's take a look at some projections here. We're going to go back over to RotoWire. Again, you're going to pop open Kyle Tucker's player card. He's at 8 fantasy score. Did get that little bump from 7.5. But projected for 11.45, so almost 11.5 hitter fantasy score. That's still 3.45 hitter fantasy score higher than his line at 8 right now. So Kyle Tucker doing pretty good work. Just hit a bomb in his last game against Philly. I don't know that he's going to go yard again tonight after doing so yesterday, but he doesn't necessarily need to hit a home run to hit this fantasy score. He's a pretty good hitter overall, and not too home run dependent typically. But let's get you another projection. We're going to go back over to the bat and see where they have them. They have Kyle Tucker's hitter fantasy score up at 10.45, so almost 2.5 hitter fantasy score higher than where he's at currently over on PrizePicks. So I like that one as a second hitter fantasy score option. We're going to go one more hitter fantasy score, and we're looking at Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to back off of Gunnar Henderson because he was at 7.5 hitter fantasy score. He's now at 8.5, and that's way too big of a bump for me to want to take Gunnar Henderson. If you're maybe playing on a site like Underdog or something like that offers hitter fantasy score, maybe you go take him over there. Maybe a site like Parlay Play, I think they offer hitter fantasy score as well. But now that he's been bumped to 8.5 from 7.5, he's going to just be a fade for me. I'm going to move on to the next pick. Let's look at some of these pitching strikeout combos. These have been pretty good to me in the past. The first one that I've got my eye on is going to be Shane Smith and Lance McCullers for less than 11 combined pitching strikeouts. So if they have 10 or fewer, that's what we're hoping for. 11 would mean that they tie or push, not the end of the world. Anything less than 12 would basically be an okay outcome for us in this case. But looking at these guys to go under 11. Taking a look at the strikeout projections, we're going to go over to the bat on EV Analytics and punch in Lance McCullers' name. Now, when we do that, he's projected for about 5.7 strikeouts. 5.7 strikeouts, all right? So when we combine that number with Shane Smith's projection, he's projected for about 4.7. So 5.7 plus 4.7, you're left at about 10.4, which is why I'm leaning toward the under at 11 combined Ks for this duo. Hopefully they are not doing too much in terms of strikeouts and they stay under this number. Let's get on to the last pick. It's going to be another pitcher strikeout combo. I'm looking at Mitch Spence and Jose Soriano for more than 7.5 pitcher strikeouts. 7.5 seems like a little bit of a lower number. We're going to go back over to the bat, check out the projections for both guys right now. So we'll start with Mitch Spence, who's sitting out here at 3.83 projected strikeouts. So 3.83 plus Soriano's projection, which is going to be around 5.03. And then you're left with about an 8.86 total projection for both pitchers and their strikeouts. So hopefully you can see my little calculator here. I'm trying to tabulate and punch these and crunch these numbers for you here in real time. But 8.86 is their combined strikeout total according to the Bat X by Derek Carty. So for me, I'm going to take the over and hope for the best outcome. I know Soriano's been a little shaky lately. Mitch Spence isn't a big strikeout guy, but hopefully these guys can combine for 8 or more Ks. It's looking pretty good in terms of the projections over on the bat. So that's going to be it for today's videos. Hopefully these picks find you well. Now is where I shut my mouth and I turn things over to you. Are you liking these picks, hating these picks, taking them or fading them? Let me know down in the comment section below. And again, if you're a subscriber, hit the like button. You comment a player prop that you're really liking, and that player prop ends up being a winning pick, well, then you could be the next winner of a free month of Dub Club. Appreciate everybody in advance. Good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. And if you're in Dub Club, I'll catch you on the inside.